Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We are back working on the V12 BMW 760 Li. Now then, the last video on this car that you would have saw, we was having issues with the boot or the trunk for my American viewers. Now, is it fixed? Not yet, but I'm pretty confident I know what the issue is. So let's get the boot opened up. Okay, so as you can see, I have went ahead and removed the pump slash motor which drives the hydraulic fluid all the way around here to this piston, which then pushes on the strut. Of course, we replaced both of the struts in the previous video, and the boot lid now holds up perfectly, so we know the issue isn't with those boot struts there. However, like I said, I did remove the motor slash pump itself, disassembled it, and this is what I found. So these are all of the bits which make up the pump itself, the reservoir, this thing here which the motor goes through, and then right here this thing rotates, basically acts as a fluid pump to drive the fluid to that piston, as I mentioned. However, this is what I found. This is a gear which, as you can see, is well and truly stripped in the middle. Definitely shouldn't be like that. So this gear or cog should sit on the motor itself and of course rotate when the motor runs, but as you can see, it's it's just rotating freely, it's not rotating the motor. So I'm pretty confident this is what our issue is. So my dad, being a mechanical engineer, can pretty much make anything out of steel or aluminium, made me up a nice shiny aluminium gear. Now there's no chance that this thing can wear, and as you can see, it is a perfect fit on here. Now this thing should work. So yeah, pretty confident that is our issue. As many of you said in the previous video, it sounds like a stripped plastic gear, and it was in fact the issue. So this thing right here, this new gear slash cog, whatever you want to call it, this has saved me over £1,000. Of course, you can't buy the gear direct from BMW, you can only buy the entire pump assembly, and they wanted over £1,200 for this whole lot. So yeah, definitely not cheap. So guess what we'll do now? We will reassemble everything, of course, along with the new gear. We will then fill the system with some ATF, yes, ATF, automatic transmission fluid. You're not supposed to use this stuff, you're supposed to use an overpriced aerospace hydraulic fluid. I really don't think it makes a difference what kind of fluid you use. You can use central hydraulic fluid, ATF. I can't see it there, I can't see there being a problem. If I decide to at a later date, I may swap out for the proper genuine BMW stuff, but for now I'm just going to run with this just to make sure that the system is working as it should. But yeah, let's get all this back together, let's get it hooked back onto those hydraulic lines and then see how we're looking. Okay, so while I reassemble this pump, I did miss one thing, which I probably was trying to figure out. How does that gear actually work on here? So there's like a small pin here that just drops in there, and then one of these cogs, it just kind of loosely fits over there, and yeah, just rotates the pump assembly like that. And if you're wondering like why are these holes much bigger than that pin, that's how it is on the standard one as well. It doesn't have to be like a tight fit on there, it's only, it's just got to have enough contact with it just to make it rotate like that. So yeah, let's get all this now put back together. We have this O-ring that sits on here. with the gear on it. It does fit tightly on here. And then drop this into place. Okay, so I found it's easier to install the gear onto the pump and then install this section on, and then I'm going to install the pump into here. Make sure to line it up with the gear. It's got to be in place. So that is that motor now installed. Just got to reinstall the bolts. It should be these two right here. And with those two bolts now back in, that is the pump assembly now back together. Of course, I now need to connect it up to the hydraulic lines, and then I can fill the reservoir up with fluid and get it installed. Okay then, so as you can see, the pump assembly is now in place, and a few of you are probably questioning, thinking that looks like it's upside down, and to answer that, no, it's not upside down. I believe why some people think it is upside down, I think on the LCIs, bear in mind this is a pre-LCI, I've done an LCI retrofit on it, but it is a 2003. I think that pump, the LCI one, the later one, is slightly different, and I think the reservoir is in fact on the top, because I've noticed on that one the reservoir seems like it's on the top, and this solenoid here, whatever it is, that seems like it's coming out there. So yeah, completely different setup, but I'm pretty confident this is exactly how it should go. All of the wiring and everything looks like it's routed correctly. So yeah, I've got as much fluid in there as I can. I think I'm gonna, have to bleed the system, but yeah, I guess we should just test this thing and see what happens. Okay, so it's definitely quieter now. It definitely didn't make as much noise. Still kind of seems like it's not doing much though. Yeah, fairly confident we now have air in the system, so I'm gonna take it off again and top up the reservoir as much as possible. Okay then, so here is where we are at. Don't know how well you can see, but the reservoir is now full. I'm confident I've got all of the air out. Yeah, I literally just took the reservoir off, filled it up, pushed the boot lid up and down a few times, filled it up again, and then yeah, I literally can't get any more in there, it's just overflowing. So I'm confident that that is all bled up. However, when you go to raise the boot lid, it tries to raise, but it just hasn't quite got enough power, it seems. So I can lift it up with my finger. You can kind of feel like it's assisting it slightly. So it's at that point, and it's moving. It's now moving. Yeah, you can see it's doing its thing. So why does the boot lid go down? But not raise up on its own power. That is so strange. Right, I think I'm going to have to do some more head scratching with this one. I am going to leave this one here. Yeah, like I said, I've played around with it. I can't seem to get it to work. The pump is obviously now working as it should. The fact that we have installed that gear is obviously driving the pump because it lowers down as it should. So the fluid's obviously moving one way. Is it moving the other way though? We don't know. Let me know if you have any suggestions, what the issue could be. It's not a major thing. I've got other things that I can definitely move on with this car. I've definitely got more things that I can move on with, on this car. it should. Of course, I do want to get this car tip-top, you know, I want to get everything working perfectly as it should, so it's probably something that I'll look at later on down the line. But of course, let me know if you have any suggestions down below. I want to thank you all for watching anyway. Give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so. I'll see you all in the next one.